and welcome to CTRMRadio, a podcast by Commodity Technology Advisory, hosted on ctrmcenter.com and attcenter.net. My name is Irina Reitgruber, and today I will be talking with two experts about AI impact on commodity business in general and on operational intelligence tools in particular. Many thanks to Jonathan Alger from ClearDox and Michaela Bruce from Optimus for participating. Please do like and share this podcast. Many thanks. Hello. Today we discuss application of AI in the area of operational intelligence. And I have two experts with me, which I would like to introduce. Let's start with Michelle. Please introduce yourself.
Great. Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle Bruce. I'm a partner at Optimus. Optimus is a firm that was started in 2004, where we focus on people, process, and technologies, primarily in the commodities trading space. My background prior to joining Optimus was really supporting the trade floors in running mid and back office teams and system integration, process improvement with firms such as Enron, American Electric Power, Merrill Lynch Commodities, and then most recently was Barclays Bank. Irina and everyone else, thank you so much for having me this morning. We're excited to get started.
Thank you. And now, Jonathan, please introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, I'm Jonathan Alger. I'm the head of the customer success group at ClearDox. ClearDox is a firm that is focused on intelligent applications within the commodities trading space. With our use of AI, we're helping companies reduce operational risks as well as improve operational efficiencies. And my background prior to ClearDox is I spent over 10 years in the commodities trading space, managing different physical operations businesses such as crude oil, refined products, and agriculture products. So it's nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So we have exciting conversation about AI today. It's always very interesting because on one hand, AI's impact on our life in general and business in particular is very high. On the other hand, we are aware of limitations and concerns people have around AI. This year, Comtech Advisory conducted a study on AI in commodities and energy businesses with the goal to find out what is actually AI in these areas. It's a hype or it's a reality. And interestingly enough, we found it's both. So on one hand, there are a lot of business cases where people really use AI. On the other hand, there are other business cases where AI is hardly used, even if some companies pretend to use it. So the business cases where AI proliferation is very high are around information collection. We call it information services. Machine learning techniques used for forecasting, and in automation of the processes, robotic process automation. Also, a lot of publications done, for example, the recent one in Financial Times is saying that in many companies, top managers want to use AI, pushing the company to use AI, but employees are frequently resistant to adopt this technology. So my first question to you would be, how do you see the impact of AI in commodity industry? And what concerns do you hear from your customers or prospects when you talk about AI? And I would start with Michelle.
Yes, so I think that AI is starting to get a lot of traction, which is a good thing. I think we are finding many ways to utilize it, mainly in the ways of optimization. We've had clients where we've worked with ClearDox to help implement tools to help with gathering large amounts of data to normalize it and build out tools that will help, or reports that will help the business. And that uses some AI functionality, which has been very helpful to our clients. We do see where, especially on the staffing side, where we're doing a lot more recruiting for data scientists, machine learning experts, and such as that. And then we also have candidates that will continue to ask if the potential client is someone that is using AI. And what we find, if someone's not on the more of the cutting edge and wanting to use AI, that it can be a detriment in order to hire the right caliber of people. If you're not in the space of using AI just yet, then you might be looked at as not being as innovative as some of your peers and others in the industry.
Okay. And Jonathan?
Sure, and I think I agree with everything Michelle is saying. We talk to all different companies and different commodity spaces, and everyone we're talking to is at different levels of engaging with AI. Some companies are just thinking about it, talking about it, trying to understand better. We also have prospects who are already building and engaging in different AI platforms and technologies, but the common thing that we hear from users or from prospects or from our customers is not just the buzzword of AI, but how it's actually being used. So the example I can give you is, engaging or having ChatGPT up next to one of your other applications and asking questions. It's using AI, but it's from a user perspective, not very engaging. There's no workflow process put around it. And it's very limited in terms of the scope or the breadth of knowledge that can really be utilized. And so what we're trying to do with ClearDox is we've built specific applications based around different parts of the supply chain or part of the trade life cycle. And we are incorporating AI into those different processes, into those different applications. And the feedback is very different once we have our customers and our users at these companies engage with those applications, because they're not just utilizing generic AI, but utilizing it in a workflow process. And I think that's the biggest thing we've seen is not just AI as a buzzword or AI as a technology, but how is that AI or the technology being incorporated into the workflow of people at these organizations.
Any concerns you hear?
I think the concern mainly is around the engagement of it, right? And so there's a lot of rules and compliance regulations that are coming out at different companies about the use of AI and what can be used and what data can be sanctioned to be used on these different platforms. And so, quite honestly, it can get very confusing for a user because they obviously want to be utilizing AI to help them, let's say, understand the risk of a contract or how, this language in a contract could potentially impact their organization. But the thoughts that come out from a user's perspective is, can I put this document into this platform? Is it going against my AI compliance regulations at my company? And so there's a lot of uncertainty around that. So that's one of the concerns we hear from companies and users is, how do I engage with AI? How do I do it in a safe way? And how do I make it so I'm delivering impact, but also delivering impact in a process?
Okay, thank you. And now when we are talking about processes in back office or operations, how do you see readiness of companies to invest in those? From my personal experience of working for many CTRM vendors, when it comes to decision which software to purchase, revenue bringing areas have the highest and the first voice. So that even if back office and operations are dealing a lot with the system, they're not in the driving seat, so to say, when it comes to decision which software to buy. So what do you think about readiness of companies to invest in back office and operations? And I will start this time with Jonathan, please.
Sure. So I think it's been interesting over my tenure at the commodities firms that I've worked at. There's always been a preference or bias towards the front office because that's always been seen as, like you said, the profit maker, the revenue generator. But what we have seen with the different companies we've worked with is that the analysis is now being done not only in the front office, but it's now extending to the middle office and the back office. And as data has become more relevant, as people are getting access to better reporting toolkits, as they are reviewing their process, it's been a natural evolution over the last decade of not only looking at the front office as the revenue generator, but also looking at the way the back office is protecting the revenue. And that's a big thing that we're hearing from our different prospects and customers is, yes, the front office is the one that's creating or generating the lead for the revenue, but it's also the back office and the middle office job to protect that revenue, right? To reduce the risks around the movement, if it's a physical, if it's financial, to make sure that things are aligned in data. And so really what we're seeing is the need to invest into the revenue protection, right? So as companies are reviewing this with the data they have, a really basic example is processing invoices, right? It's a very straightforward thing, but how many times did your company pay a vendor twice, right? How many times did you not pay a vendor on time and incur a penalty, right? These are very simple things that in the past have been overlooked, but with the addition of data and analyzing the data into reporting, these companies are starting to realize that, well, we should attend to that. We should look at the risks. And so with applying, different AI solutions to that and building the workflow process around those simple tasks, companies are starting to see that I am in a position to try to protect my revenue. And the back office is really the place to start of understanding where the risk is and mitigating that risk as much as possible.
Thank you. Something to add, Michelle?
Yeah, I agree with absolutely everything that Jonathan said. Yes, while front office is your revenue generator, to Jonathan's point, you can really make big savings in the back office as well. Historically, you've thrown a lot of people at the problem, whether it's processing of a lot of data, doing quite a bit of button pushing. And I think now with the onset of AI and the capabilities that brings, you're able to provide a lot more efficiencies, and you're also able to provide the employee the capability or the ability to be more analytical versus being sort of that button pusher. And I think that the onset of new capability to add controls that AI brings is tremendous. We have a tool, for example, that uses EDI to integrate the gas nominations to the EBBs and then receives back the actualization from the EBB and puts it into the ETRM. That is now allowing companies to close their books faster at the end of the month, to know what the real position is on the same day and almost immediately, because that information is coming back so quickly. And it's, you're able to settle. You don't have the differences that you used to have where there was so much more manual input. The tool is leveraging AI in order to make sure it hits the right contract, because it's learning, how to update that. And so we're seeing many benefits of that. And while a scheduler may look at that and go, oh, it's going to work me out of a job, the answer is no, it's not. It's going to allow you to do some things that are actually a little bit more commercial versus data entry and making sure that the data is coming into your accounting system or your financial system correctly. So we're seeing a lot of aspects, especially in the ways of adding controls and providing that capability to be more of a analytical resource versus doing things that are so manual.
Okay, so as you say, companies see the value in using technology in these areas of back office and operation. And now let's talk about how they do it. So there's a lot of open source software. The AI is not expensive. And so if the technology is affordable and available, companies with IT departments full of people who are excited about the technology, those companies would definitely prefer to build things in-house. So when you are talking with your customers or prospects, how do you convince them that purchasing standard software may have some benefits versus doing yourself option. And let's start with Michelle this time.
Okay. Well, that's a great question. And I think that historically companies have always come across this exact question, whether it's, building out an ETRM or implementing a new ERP system. And so you can look at doing it internally, externally, or a bit of a hybrid approach. What we talk to our clients about is you really need to think about what is it that you're trying to accomplish. And if it's something that is going to be very provide your competitive advantage and that's very specific for you, then perhaps you want to weigh that a little bit more with your internal resources, because it's your IP, you're not sharing it really with anybody externally, you're gaining all that knowledge, versus if it's something that is a process like much of back office work is, right? That it's a process that the rest of the industry is also doing. Then it's great to go leverage somebody that, a vendor that has done that. Typically what we find is that our clients will look to do that hybrid approach and partner with both types. Both doing it internally and externally. I think the benefit of having the external is that vendor has seen many of a problem to provide a solution. So you're getting kind of the best in breed, versus when it is just internal. If you're 100% using internal resources, they may have only been exposed to your organization and really haven't seen the options that are out there in order to benefit. I would say that when we leverage ClearDox for one of the tools on an inventory management process, the big benefit, and we came up against what can the internal organization provide versus what could the ClearDox provide. And one of the best benefits was that ClearDox has done this again and again and again, and they've seen this same type of data. They already know how to take much of the data we were trying to bring in because they've done it before. And so the time to market was a huge benefit and much quicker than what it would have been had we gone through the internal approach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's clear. Thank you. And something to add as a software provider, Jonathan?
Well, I mean, Michelle kind of teed it up for me, but I think the real benefit there that I will say is the expertise and the knowledge and the time to market. I think we talked with customers. We've talked with a couple of different customers. We've done implementations. One of the most recent examples we've done over and over and over again is natural gas invoice reconciliation. So we've worked with, I think 3 or 4 customers now. And the use case was where we have these natural gas invoices that come in on a monthly basis. We need to make sure that the information that's on these invoices matches our CTRM system. We need to do a reconciliation. And that is anybody who's in that space, that's the common problem. And so the time to market for us is, we've seen all these vendors before, all these counterparties you're trading with, we've dealt with them with other customers. We have basically an out-of-the-box solution where the only thing we have to tailor to is your CTRM file or your accrual file. And that basically reduces the time to go live from a traditional sense of 2 to 3 months to 2 to 3 weeks. And that's really where the added benefit comes in for us. And as an organization looks internally to expand upon that, as an organization looks internally, you need to also have the right skill set. And as Michelle talked about, you need to find the use case. You need to determine what the process is we're trying to solve and who on our team can actually build and deliver this solution, right? So it's not just a development team to build it, but do you have the AI expertise? Do you have the ability to maintain the AI piece, right? So models change every 6 months. Do you have the ability to make sure you're keeping up with what's the best model for our situation? So there's a lot of decisions that need to be made internally that are not only business decisions, but also development decisions as well. And so those are the type of things that we hear from our customers as we go through kind of the life cycle of a prospect is, okay, you found the business problem that you want to solve. Who would you have internally to actually solve that problem? And what does the timeline look like? What does the cost look like? And that's kind of the evaluation process that a lot of our customers come to, and they end up with well, I have other projects I can work on. I'll leave it to the experts who keep up with this stuff on a day-to-day basis to deliver the solution for us.
Mhm. Thank you. Okay, so concluding this discussion, I can say that obviously AI came and will stay with us. Companies recognize benefits in the area of operations and back office. It's a lot of work, a lot of time spent on this. Price of mistake is high, and the technology is available for solving this problem. So companies face strategic choice of building software in-house or purchasing standard software, and that should be thoroughly thought through because of the implications. So maybe very short last statement to conclude this discussion. Jonathan, please.
Sure. I think the overall theme here for us is the AI landscape and the technology is ever evolving. It's evolving very, very fast. The things that I'm thinking about and we're implementing today in 3 months will be different. And so as companies are thinking and listening to this, the main points I want you to take away is as you look internally at your organization and you're looking at where AI can be used, where we need to incorporate AI, to first think about it from a business use case perspective. What's the business process we're trying to solve? And then from there, understanding what is the best technology out there to try to solve that problem. And is there a solution in the market that is already available that will eliminate my time to market versus my internal development effort? So I'll just leave it with that, I think.
Thank you. And your final statement, Michelle?
Yeah, I agree with everything that Jonathan just said. I mean, AI is here to stay. Leverage it to the best that you can to make your organization as proactive and get as many benefits out of it as it can. We typically say start small, but start now. Leverage what you can. To Jonathan's point, make sure you know what it is you're trying to target, what that ROI target is going to be for that particular problem that you're trying to solve. And you also, again, don't want to have any cultural impacts from within your organization from not being innovative and being proven to be innovative, and that you're out in the market trying to keep up or beat your peers, and you've got to stay ahead of that game, or at least get in the game. So that's what I would say.
Thank you. And with this optimistic statement, thank you very much for participation and have a nice day.
Thank you.